This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 13 in the National Football League. Baltimore Ravens at home taking on the San Diego Superchargers in what is going to amount to a humongous game in the AFC landscape. Look, we're down to the nitty-gritty now. It's getting late early in the National Football League, and these games, these type of matchups right here, they're going to count the most. Look, it's one thing to beat up on the Jacksonvilles and the Tennessees of the world. You know, it's even nice if you get a little win over Houston. That's great. But when it matters most is when you play other teams that you're going to be battling it out for the final few spots in the postseason. Not everybody's going to win their division. Not everybody is going to get an automatic ticket to the dance. Some people are going to have to earn their way in the back door. And for those teams, these type of matchups are humongous. You got to be able to beat the teams that you're going to be racing for that final spot against. If you're San Diego, I know it's a road game, but this Baltimore Ravens team could win their division. They play in the toughest division in all of football. They could easily not win their division. And so they want to get in. Either way, whether they win the division or they get in by the wild card, they want in. And they won the Super Bowl despite not winning their division before. So they just want in. They don't care how they get in. They just want in the postseason. And if you're the Chargers, you're probably not going to win your division. So you just want to get in. Last year, you got in through the back door and you made it all the way to the divisional round of the postseason. So all bets are off once you get in. You just need to get your foot through that door. So games like this against a Baltimore Ravens team that comes into the game at 7-4, San Diego comes into the game at 7-4, these two teams will be staring at each other when it's all said and done, looking to try to get into the postseason. One of these teams will probably end up getting into the postseason, and the other team probably will be looking at that other team, most likely, and it's a distinct possibility, with the same exact record, but because of a loss, they won't get in. So games like this, huge on the NFL docket in week number 13 and moving forward. And so if you're San Diego, gotta try to get this one on the road. You have not been the best road team this season. This could be a huge feather in your cap. If you're Baltimore, I think of all the teams in that wacky AFC, North division, which is by far the best division in football this season, I think you've been the most consistent. Maybe steady team is the right word, because you don't know what you're getting from week to week with Pittsburgh, as we saw in week 13. You don't know what you're getting from week to week with the Cincinnati Bengals, because Andy Dalton is their quarterback. And you don't know what you're getting from Cleveland, because they're Cleveland. I mean, they've overachieved this year, and they're a great story, but they're not really a team that you think is going to actually make the postseason one and win in division number 2. So I think you're the most consistent and solid and steady football team in this division. And really, to cement your place in this division and possibly make the postseason, you got to be able to beat the teams like San Diego at home. This is a gift. To get a home matchup against a San Diego Chargers team that just last week almost lost to the St. Louis Rams. They're still not that same team that was 5-1 to start the season. They're a long ways from that team. A lot of injuries have decimated this team. And so you've got an opportunity at home to go to 8-4 with a huge win over a team that will be looking for a wild card spot, probably when it's all said and done at the end of the season. So let's jump into this breakdown. What a game this was. These two teams played as if the postseason was on the line in this game, and you got to think that it is at some point going to be on the line, and games like these are going to decide who's going to get in and who's going to be on the outside looking in. And so 8 plays, 61 yards for the Ravens on their opening drive with 2 spectacular catches. And they were both one-handed grabs. And Joe Flacco was bailed out on this drive. A couple of throws that he should have been able to make a little bit more accurately. Didn't make it. But and this is what you need. The good teams find ways to do this. You bail your quarterback out. Sometimes your quarterback isn't going to put it on the money. Playmakers make plays. And you need guys to step up and make extraordinary plays sometimes. 2 of them were made on this play. One on 3rd down by Marlon Brown. Ball is behind him and high. Doesn't hurt that Marlon Brown is 6'5". Haven't heard his name a lot this year. I thought he emerged last year as a guy that the Ravens could count on moving forward. Haven't heard it since the emergence of Steve Smith, bringing him in as a free agent. I think Marlon Brown's role on this team had been reduced. And so hasn't had a lot of catches this season, but they were using him a lot in this game early on. And this was a huge catch. He's running across the formation and Flacco is behind him. It's high. He still pulls it in with one hand, picks up the first down on 3rd down. That helped set up a Torrey Smith touchdown, and that was from 16 yards out, and that was a one-handed grab. Flacco again slightly off the mark. Torrey Smith bails him out and picks him up with a one-hand stab. Is able to deaden the impact of the football, corral it, bring it in, roll over, keep it in his grasp as he completes the catch. It's a touchdown at 7-0 Ravens. So 2 tremendous grabs to give the Ravens the lead early in this game, 7-0. Phillip Rivers hit on the arm by Elvis Dumervil. Ball goes directly to Darryl Smith. It's picked off, sets up a field goal. Ravens now ahead 10-0 in this game. Phillip Rivers, though, this is why I love Philly. This is why I love Philly, okay? I love me some Philly Rivers because Philly, I know one thing about Philly, all right? My man Phils, he's going to hang in there. Whether he's banged up, whether he's talking trash, whether the other team's talking trash, whether he's down big, it doesn't matter. Phils is going to hang in there. And down 10-0, he could have hung his head. This team could have went down on the road. They've been struggling. Again, barely won last week. Wasn't pretty 2 weeks ago against Oakland. They could have easily hung their heads on the road here. But Philly hangs in. Gets it done on this possession, and he took some shots. I mean, he stared down the gun barrel, knew he was going to get hit, still delivered the football a couple of times, including on 3rd down, on a crosser to WK13 on a big pickup as he catches it, rumbles down the field, picks up a huge gain, sets up a Keenan Allen 13-yard touchdown grab, his first of the game. We'll hear Keenan Allen's name a little bit later on down in the program, but huge pickup there for WK13 leads to a Keenan Allen 13-yard touchdown. It's 10-7, and Philly got hit. You know, Phils got hit on this possession, was banged up, didn't know if he was going to be able to continue. Shook it off, stayed in the game, and got them in the end zone. And that's just the toughness and the grit you get from Phils. Again, I said it earlier in the season, I feel that way now. Nothing has changed. If I had to go into a dark alley with one quarterback in this league, I'm taking Phils with me, man. I know he's got my back, okay? You say what you want about Phils. He's got 2 left feet. He's not running anywhere. Phils is going to have my back. And that guy hung in the pocket, took some shots, got his team in the end zone. It's 10-7. Ravens still ahead, but Chargers are here to stay in this game. This could have turned into the Dolphins game all over again. I mean, that's how this game started. Could have turned into that Dolphins shellacking, but it didn't because Philly hung in there, got his team in the end zone. It's 10-7. That ends the first quarter. Ravens up by 3. Marlon Brown having a great start to this game. I talked about him not being used a lot this season. Well, Joe Flacco rolls out to his right, looks back across the field to his left, spots Marlon Brown, throws him the football across his body. Dangerous throw. You never want your quarterback doing this, but when you've got the kind of arm that Joe Flacco has, and you got a 6'5" target in Marlon Brown, you can take a chance. And that's what they did. He catches it, but he comes down awkwardly on his back, leaves the game, does not return. But Justin Forsett gets loose after that catch by Brown, which was for a first down. And then there's a pass interference on Marcus Gilchrist. Now, I thought the officials did a couple of strange things. They called him for pass interference on the play, but they put the ball at like the 7-yard line. What's up with that? I mean, the pass interference occurred in the end zone. Ball should have been at the 1-yard line. I don't know what happened there. If it's illegal contact, that's one thing. They called pass interference on the field, but they put the ball at the 7. Don't ask me. I don't know what happened there. Either way, that's a huge turn of events because Baltimore Ravens settled for a field goal. You got to think, if they get that ball down to the 1-yard line off of pass interference, they're probably getting in the end zone. And so, don't know what happened there. I'd love an explanation as to what happened there, but whatever. It's 13-7. Ravens on top of the game. DJ Fluker inadvertently strips his own teammate, Eddie Royal, of the football. You know how sometimes the linemen want to try to help their player get as many yards as they possibly can on the play? DJ Fluker holding Eddie Royal up on the play. Royal trying to get extra yardage, has the football away from his body. Fluker trying to push him forward, knocks the football out of Eddie Royal's hands. It's recovered by the Ravens. They use that fumble to move it all the way down the field and add another field goal. It's now 16-7. Ravens out on top. Phillip Rivers, though, does not settle for that halftime deficit. In fact, he takes his team down the field on a beautiful first half ending drive, sets up a 52-yard attempt, and it's not home to cut the lead to 16-6. So Nick Novak able to deliver a deep bomb as we go into the halftime break. 16-10. Chargers down, but again, they're hanging tough in a game that really has been dominated by the Ravens up until this point. You go to the third quarter, Phillip Rivers hooks up with Malcolm Floyd, and it was good to see him come back because he took a shot at the end of the first half on a play that they ruled a personal foul. Initially picked up the flag, thought it was the right thing to do, didn't think it was a malicious hit. The defender was actually going for the ball, so I thought it was a good no call. But we've seen Malcolm Floyd take some shots and have to leave games, so it was good to see him come back. Big 59-yard pickup here leads to a field goal as the Baltimore Ravens now have a 3-point lead in this game. And so Chargers not going away. They're hanging tough. But again, at some point, got to get in the end zone. These field goals not going to win you the football game. You got to find a way to score touchdowns. It's tough against this Ravens defense, one of the best red zone defenses in the league. They're showing it. 16-13 Ravens on top. Bad kick out of bounds. Starts the Ravens at the 40. Let's talk about this for a second because the Chargers employed a stay away from double J strategy in this game. And basically, they didn't want to kick the football to Jacoby Jones. And we know he's a dangerous return man. We've seen his work. We know how effective he's been throughout this league. But you can't do what they did in this game. They consistently gave the Ravens short fields in this game with bad kickoffs all game long. I don't care how good the return man is. You do some things to try to kick it away. You may try to kick it in the corner to the left. May try to kick it to the corner to the right. May try to kick it up really high. Give your return team a chance to get down there quickly. But under no circumstances is it cool to kick it out of bounds. I don't want anybody getting the football at the 40-yard line without having to earn it. And I just thought that the Chargers were playing scared all game. And then when they finally didn't play scared and actually kicked on the football, you'll see what the end result is. But right now, after the bad kickoff out of bounds to start the Ravens at the 40, the Ravens take advantage of that. Eric Weddle roughs Joe Flacco, and so that extends the drive. That leads to 2 Torrey Smith catches. He was huge on the day. Torrey Smith with about 6 grabs in this game, close to 100 yards receiving. Talked about him already having a touchdown earlier in the game. He gets another one here. He has a huge catch on 3rd and 7 to extend the drive out, and then gets another catch, this time in the end zone on the slant. It's now 23-13. Ravens take a 10-point lead at this point. I really thought that the Ravens were going to run away with this game. I really felt like they had the momentum. That was a huge score. Chargers haven't scored many touchdowns in this game. Thought that might be the one. So we go to the 4th quarter. Bad punt helps propel San Diego to a touchdown as Ryan Matthews gets in from 14 yards out. Now 23-20. And so special teams for both teams, a little sketchy. You know, that's a tough one to give up, especially with a short field. You would love to have seen the punter get a good kickoff, give the defense a chance, who had been playing solid all game long. And we know about the struggles of this Ravens secondary. A lot of injuries, a lot of guys that you don't trust back there. So you never want to cut the field in half with this Ravens defense because of the fact that you got a lot of guys in that secondary that you just don't trust. But now it's 23-20. Chargers hanging tough. Again, I keep waiting for Baltimore to run away with this one. San Diego just hanging around. And again, you know how I feel about allowing teams to just loiter. Don't let them hang around. Put that sign up that says no loitering You let them hang around, bad things happen. Ravens' run game starts to dominate as Justin Forsett eclipses 1,000 yards on the season for the first time in his career. Congratulations to him. Another feather in the cap for Gary Kubiak as he has another 1,000-yard back in his system. And you know that those roots trace all the way back to Denver and that zone run blocking scheme. And so the success that's been had in that system extends all the way around the league. And another 1,000-yard rusher is benefited from that zone run blocking scheme in Justin Forsett as he helps them get down the field. Sprinkle in a little bit of Bernard Pierce to get all the way down the field. Joe Flacco caps it off with a 2-yard touchdown run, eating up 6 minutes of the fourth quarter clock in the process. Also doesn't hurt when you get a pass interference on the Chargers to help you move it down the field as well. So I thought that this one, if the last touchdown that they scored to Torrey Smith wasn't the one that was going to put them away, I definitely thought up 10, 30-20 with, you know, less than 7 minutes to go in the game. I thought that was the nail in the coffin. I thought that was the dagger that was going to put the Chargers away in this game. Phillip Rivers, though, aided by a third down holding penalty on Baltimore, takes his team down the field and gets them in the end zone on a Keenan Allen 23-yard touchdown catch into the corner of the end zone. Only taking 2 minutes and 33 seconds to do it, so striking quickly, giving them a chance. They got all their timeouts left. They cut this lead back to 3 at 30-27. Huge drive by Phillip Rivers, and again, Philly. My man Phil's doing it again, keeping his team within striking distance in this football game. When it looked like they were about to lose touch with the Ravens, then you get a huge double J kickoff return on the ensuing kickoff to set up a field goal. Now, I talked about San Diego employing that basically stay away from double J philosophy in this game. Well, they finally said, you know what? After the last time we kicked it out of bounds, we're not doing that anymore. Let's just kick it to him and see what happens. They kick it to him, and he breaks off about a 75-yard return, so it somewhat backfires. And that's what they were afraid of. So almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so this is where I thought the Ravens lost the game, right here. Because they were in no position to go soft and conservative on me here. You're up 3. Field goal doesn't put this game out of reach. It's not like you're up 6, where a field goal puts you up 9 and you win the game because you're up 2 scores. Field goal only puts you up 6. A touchdown beats you. So if I'm the Ravens, I don't take my foot off the gas pedal. They ran the football and forced the Chargers to use their 3 timeouts, as if the Chargers using their 3 timeouts was going to give them the football back with 38 seconds left and no timeouts, which would be all but impossible to score a touchdown. It was over 2 minutes to go in the game. I mean, what are you doing? Why are you forcing them to use their timeouts as if that's going to have a bearing on the outcome of the game? Phillip Rivers doesn't need timeouts to score with over 2 minutes to go in a football game if you're giving him the football back, if you're going to be conservative and just run the football. He didn't need his timeouts for that. So I didn't like the strategy that the Ravens employed here about running the football. They needed to continue to attack through the air, hit Owen Daniels, hit Torrey Smith, who had had a big game up until this point. Crockett Gilmore had a huge catch that was called back by a penalty. But find somebody. Steve Smith had a quiet game. Find somebody, pick up a first down, and really you needed to get in the end zone here, to be honest. And I didn't like the way they handled that situation. They ran it twice, tried to do something on third down, didn't work, and so got to settle for a field goal. Sure, you made San Diego use their timeouts, but Phillip Rivers got the football back with about 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go on the clock. He didn't need a timeout for that. He could take that down. Hell, they could have started the drive at their own 3-yard line and had to go 97, and he could have done that in 2 minutes and 33 seconds. I just told you, they just scored in 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So to think that making them use their timeouts was doing something, I just didn't like that philosophy that they employed there, and it backfired on them, and they had to pay for that. And so you got just incredible knocking it home to make it 33-27, but Phillip Rivers getting the football back in this spot is a dangerous, and I mean a dangerous proposition, one that the Ravens found out. You don't want that. This ain't what you want. And so, Phillip Rivers does it again. He takes the Chargers down the field and scores after the Ravens have a pass interference penalty on Levine in the end zone. Leads to a 1-yard Eddie Royal touchdown on a bubble screen. It's 34-33. With about 38 seconds left, even though the Ravens have 2 timeouts left, you're asking a lot. Couldn't get it down the field. Time expires on the Ravens as they're able to complete a pass down the field to Aiken, but he can't get out of bounds. As the San Diego Superchargers come back and win the game. They had never led in this game until they completed that touchdown to Eddie Royal with 38 seconds left on the clock. That was their first lead of the game, and that was the most important lead of the game. As they still won on the road, this is a huge win. These are the type of wins that define your season. If you're the Chargers, this is the type of win here. Because I'm going to be honest with you, didn't see the Chargers winning this game. Never thought they were going to win this game. Didn't think they were going to win this game going into the game. At no point in this game did I think they were going to win until the Baltimore Ravens decided to go conservative at the end. And I said, Phillip Rivers has been hot in this fourth quarter. They've already scored 2 touchdowns. You give him the football back with enough time, he's probably going to hurt you. He's probably going to break your heart. And you know what this game reminded me of? Last year, Phillip Rivers did the same thing to the Kansas City Chiefs. In a game, brought his team back. They hung around, got a chance to win at the end. Phillip Rivers hits C.J. Ajira-Tutu. They win that game on the road in Arrowhead. Same thing here. Huge comeback. Didn't think they were going to be able to do it. But they got the football late in the game, got an opportunity, and he made the best of it. It's a dangerous Chargers team. Still think they got some issues defensively. A lot of things to clean up. But you'll do it with a Coke and a smile and a W on the road from this Ravens team at M&T Bank. This is a tough one to swallow if you're the Ravens. You led for the entire game. You led for 59 minutes and 32 seconds. 22 seconds. But unfortunately, the final 38 was the ones that mattered the most. That's when the Chargers took the lead and beat you in this game. That's going to sting. That is going to sting if you are the Baltimore Ravens. Again, if you don't make the postseason after losing this one, you drop to 7-5. You don't make the postseason and you miss it by a game. That's probably one of the ones you're going to look back on and say, God dang it, we let one slip through our fingers. That one stings. If you're the Chargers, that's a huge win because you don't know what's going to happen on Sunday Night Football tonight. Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, but one thing's for sure. You've just put your name in the hat in the discussion for that divisional crown, and you've separated yourself just a bit from the rest of the pack in the AFC wild card hunt. Remember, Buffalo's at 75, you already beat them. Baltimore's at 75, you already beat them. Miami's going to be in a position to win on Monday night versus the Jets. Right now, they're currently 6-5. If they win that game, they'll be at 7-5. Now, you lost to them, but by winning this game and getting to 8-4, you stay ahead of that Dolphins team that shellacked you a couple of weeks ago. So that's a huge win. Humongous win for the San Diego Superchargers. Let's see, now that they're on a 3-game winning streak, if they can continue to build off of this win and continue to build that momentum that they've been building since that bye week in San Diego. That's going to do it for Chargers and the Ravens. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I got plenty more games to break down in week number 13 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.